Started. Let's go.
Alright, so, hello everyone. If you clicked on this, you already know what the title is, so I'm not gonna tell you if you can't read. This is the first episode we're uploading to the Jedi Council channel instead of one of our individual channels, so that's kind of exciting. But without further ado, let's just start.
My idea.
Alright.
That's made possible by me.
Alright, so first of all, Star Wars Rebels versus Star Wars The Clone Wars. What does everyone think? Alright.
We should vote on what we think is the best.
Alright. And then we'll vote which and then why.
Who would like to start?
I guess I'll start. Okay, so I think I will narrowly give the edge to Rebels for a few reasons. It is really close, but I think I'm going to give the slight edge to Rebels. Because for one, the characters' fates aren't already predetermined. So it's like for Clone Wars, if Anakin's fighting Grievous, it's not like if Anakin's fighting Grievous, it's kind of like, well, I obviously know they don't die, so I don't really care. But with Rebels, if you see like Kanan fighting the Inquisitor, like he did, it's like, oh crap, is Kanan gonna die? Is the Inquisitor gonna die? What's gonna happen? We don't know.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z!
Yeah. Oh, you like Dragon Ball Z?
No, I've actually never watched it.
I've seen all of them. That's pretty great.
You're kind of connecting there for a second.
He was like, no, I've never seen any of them. Alright, so, and also I like the Rebels better, I think, because, so the characters' fates aren't determined, and also, I don't know, someone else talk.
I like the Clone Wars because I really like the plot. There's always something gripping you, and there's some really good action, and good quotes, and deaths and stuff. A lot of deaths. So much death.
Yeah, I agree. But, another reason I like Rebels is because, it kinda, it was more consistent than the Clone Wars in two ways. Way one, it was more consistent than the Clone Wars because, some episodes of the Clone Wars, I would watch and I'd be like, dang, that was awesome. And then, I would watch the next episode and it would be like, really? That's all you got? That kind of sucked. But, with Rebels, every episode is at least decent. I haven't seen an episode that I thought was bad. So I think it's more consistent in that way. And it's also more consistent because it follows the same characters, and it kind of follows in more of an order. The Clone Wars, it'll be about Anakin and Obi-Wan, then it'll switch over to Plo Koon for 3 episodes. Then it'll come back to Anakin and Obi-Wan 3 months later. But with Rebels, it's following a strict timeline, whereas Clone Wars would jump around, and it followed the same people throughout the entire series.
I would like to say about Rebels that they do a good job, filling in some spaces, whereas Clone Wars, it was kind of just there to make money and stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
Like they said, the Clone Wars was about filling in gaps, but it barely filled in any at all. It kind of left us with more questions than answers, which is a good thing, actually. That's what you want to do with a movie or a show, is leave you with more questions than answers.
I will say this for the Clone Wars, though. It did give a lot of characters who, were short-lived, like non-relevant characters in the movies, it kind of gave them their chance to shine in like in the Clone Wars, like Plo Koon. Like you didn't know anything about Plo Koon. He hardly spoke in the movies. Yeah, there's like a 3-episode strip in the Clone Wars where like he was one of the main characters, and he was a big character and did a lot of things, and so you got to like be more attached to his character.
Yeah.
I feel.
I think that that both shows, Rebels and the Clone Wars, was a good platform to introduce not only characters that weren't used in previous movies, but introduce new characters too. So you can like have a little in-depth look of what other things were happening while the main story was going on.
Yeah, I mean everyone knows the main story and the big plot line of what was happening in the galaxy, but it's kind of neat to see like what was happening like
Elsewhere.
Yeah, elsewhere, like what was going on behind the scenes, kind of Star Wars.
And the Rebels has a lot of like the real voice actors, like they got Frank Oz to be Yoda, and they got Billy D. Williams to be Lando Calrissian.
Yeah, that is cool. It's weird because it's an older Billy D. Williams playing a younger Lando.
Yeah.
It worked out fine.
Yeah.
He sounded young for how old he really was.
I mean, the Clone Wars voice actors were good too, but it'd be cool to have like the real people,
Yeah.
I thought it was cool that in the Clone Wars they did have Samuel L. Jackson play Mace Windu. So
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did.
I didn't know that either.
That's cool.
It's cool.
And
Let me see it real quick.
first few episodes of the Clone Wars in like season 1, and especially in the movie. They had the real voice actor for Count Dooku.
Yeah, they had Christopher Lee for the movie.
Yeah, Christopher Lee. Yeah, he was the voice of Count Dooku for like a few episodes and the movie. But after that, he just like something with his deal ran up or something.
Hey, Star Wars Geek, did you know that the voice actor that plays Supreme Leader Snoke was the same guy who played Gollum?
Yeah, Andy Serkis, if that's how you say that.
He played Caesar on Planet of the Apes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I
Right?
like that movie.
Wait, no. Yeah, I think so. It's either the voice actor or the one who actually crawled around. I think they're the same people.
Yeah, that's what he does. Is he does the CGI stuff. He just moves around, and then they fill it in with CGI later.
Yeah. Right, so anything else on Rebels versus Clone Wars?
So
I feel like it could be more detailed. I don't know why they didn't incorporate the past animation styles like for Yoda in the Clone Wars into Rebels.
yeah, it's
Completely
terrible.
started from scratch. Like, have you seen like the Disney Infinity characters, like the video game? He looks like one of those guys, like from the game.
Yeah, it kind of does.
It's kind of like.
Except for the game version's better.
Yeah, not really detailed, but he's like something they just quickly made up.
Yeah, that's true.
Like the Clone Wars one was very detailed and it looked great, but the Rebels one is junk.
In my opinion, that one resembled the Clone Wars cartoon that came before that one.
2003.
Yeah, if you've seen the 2003 one, like where they had just like 2 or 3 seasons, I think.
They had 2 volumes, they called it.
Yeah, volumes. Yeah, so that resembled that one, and then that one took from the movies, like but in a cartoon style. But in Rebels, they just started from scratch and just drew up whatever they thought Yoda looked like in their mind.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about the 2003 was that it answered a lot of like questions. It filled a lot of gaps, and then they made it uncanon. And then the Clone Wars doesn't really fill that much gaps.
It's true.
Yeah, especially the Clone Wars graphic novels, like the comics.
I have a few of those. You mean the 2003 or just the Clone Wars comics? I have some of both.
Clone Wars Adventures.
Yeah, I have 5 of those, I think.
I have the first 4, and they like explain backstories kind of, and like especially I think the one that interested me the most was Asajj Ventress and her partnerships with
Dirge.
this other guy. Yeah, Dirge.
And then they fight Grievous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have that.
Turning on them and stuff.
Yeah.
I talked about that in my The True History of Grievous video.
Oh yeah, I watched that. It's a good one. Anyone have any closing remarks?
Are we done already?
No. We're just going on to the next topic.
What's the next topic?
Theories.
The theories.
Okay.
So what if Ezra turned evil and he became Snoke?
That was very bizarre.
Yeah, bizarre, but I think the best theories are the ones that make you be like, what? There's no way.
So, do you have detail on that theory?
Well, in the trailer for the mid-season 2, it kind of hints at Ezra turning evil. So, he might turn evil. And throughout season 1, there's kind of been hints of him turning evil. And he never really has.
Yeah, he tamed that giant demon-y beast.
But we don't even know that Snoke is human yet.
He looks kind of.
He probably isn't, but
yeah.
Since he has
Well, the thing is, all the Sith died by the end of episode 6. Darth Vader died after turning good, and Palpatine died, supposedly. My other theory. But, so Sith don't just pop out of the ground. I mean, they had to become a Sith somehow. So if Ezra were to turn bad and then show up after Palpatine, then he could be Snoke. I mean, there's definitely a lack of evidence, but the scars on his face, and Ezra has the scars on his face from his battle with the Inquisitor.
Yeah,
So,
I think Snoke has quite a bit more scrapes.
well, Ezra's story isn't over yet, so.
I feel like Snoke could be an original character who was either a descendant. No, not a descendant. He learned from Palpatine's teachings himself, or he discovered them sometime after he died and was influenced by the dark side, to then transfer that into Kylo Ren, as we see in Episode 7. So he could be an apprentice of Darth Sidious, or he could just be a follower of the dark side from his teaching.
Yeah, in the Darth Plagueis book, it kind of explained. It said that there was only two Sith that were directed from the line of Bane, but there were more Sith out in the galaxy than just the two. Those were just the two direct line of Bane, and the line of Bane is the most powerful. But even if it's not as powerful, there were still Sith out there, besides, the rule of two kind of thing.
So, I have another theory that I created a few days ago. So, do you guys remember from episode 2, The Lost 20, with, the Jedi who left the Order, like Dooku? I guess 21, because Ahsoka left, but do you guys remember that?
I think so, yeah.
So, what if Maz Kanata was one of those? Because in a deleted scene, she's supposed to use the Force.
Well, she did say, I don't know if this goes against your theory or helps it, but it does contribute something. She does say in the movie, I'm no Jedi, but I know the Force. So, like, that could mean she was a Jedi, but she's not anymore, but she still remembered her Force teachings. Or that could just mean she's an old wise lady. You know, she's kind of a librarian. Maybe she read some holocrons or books on the Sith, or on the Force.
You can't really just teach yourself the Force. I mean, because Ezra, he went 14 years, he had it, but he couldn't use it until Kanan started to teach him. So I think that Maz Kanata could have been one of the lost 20, and there's not really any evidence, but actually there is a piece of evidence I just came out with right now. In episode 7, in the little room downstairs where Rey finds the lightsaber, there's a statue face thing of like an old Jedi. I can't remember his name. I have it written down somewhere. But like, how would she have that? I mean, unless she was like obsessed with Jedi, maybe she kept that from her time as being a Jedi.
I mean, fangirl.
It is very like abnormal for someone to teach themselves the Force, but it can be done. I mean, even though this technically isn't canon, it's also not completely fan fiction. Disney said themselves that like a lot of the stuff that happened in the legends wasn't completely true, but there are most of the elements from it are actually realistic. Like the events happening, like are actually like real events that could happen. And in the Darth Plagueis novel, Darth Plagueis at the age of... Actually, I don't know if this is in the novel, but it's a Star Wars fact. Plagueis at the age of, I think, 5, like, Jedi mind tricked a classmate who was bullying him into jumping out of a window, like...
Okay.
So...
Plagueis going full Voldemort there.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. And also, I have another theory that Ezra is going to be a main bad guy in Episode 8, because for one, it showed, it shows Ezra turning somewhat evil. I don't know if he's going to turn evil and then come back, if he's just pretending to be evil to infiltrate the Sith, or if, there's something weird going on, but it shows him turning evil to a certain degree, so he could very well be turning into like a dark side user or a Sith. And a guy who's in the casting for Star Wars 8, he's been in the casting for Star Wars 8 for a while, his name's Benicio del Toro, and he actually looks a lot like he could be an older version of Ezra. And the actor's actually 48, and Ezra, by Episode 8, would be exactly 53. So it could be that Ezra is older and turns evil. It could be that Ezra, just, turns evil and becomes a Knight of Ren, because another piece of evidence is that it shows Ezra with a cross-guarded lightsaber like Kylo Ren's, only it was green. And since it's shown before that Ezra has a thing for unconventional lightsabers, like, Ezra could have invented that and, like, been one of the first Knights of Ren, and Kylo Ren could have copied that from him or something.
Does he have blue hair?
Does Benicio del Toro? No, but they could easily implement that. They could give him blue hair.
Well, how do they know how many years Episode 8 takes place after Episode 7? Because for all we know, it takes place like 50 years and Rey's like really old and crap. I mean, I seriously doubt that, but for all we know...
I think Disney came out and said, like, what year ABY, which is after the Battle of Yavin, that Star Wars 8 will take place. I think they came out and said it. I can't remember exactly what it was. And also they said what age Ezra was.
Started filming like yesterday.
Well, yeah, that's true, actually, I think. But it said at the start of they gave the exact year that Rebels started, like this, like ABY, or BBY.
14 years after Episode 3 is when it starts.
Yeah. Yeah, so they gave the exact year that it started and how old Ezra was. I can't remember what it was.
He's 14, and then on Empire Day, he turns 15. And then it's 3 years before A New Hope after that.
Yeah. And then Disney came out and said what year ABY Episode 8 was taking place, so they were able to calculate how old he would be.
Okay, so it seems like a pretty good theory.
Yeah. I think it has
So another theory that, I didn't make this one up, but I heard it on, like, a video somewhere. I forget the guy's name, but it was a Star Wars channel. And, there's, like, this theory that Mace Windu didn't die after Palpatine supposedly killed him. For all we know, he's dead. Or, yeah. So, he got electrocuted off the balcony thing. But there's like a theory that he didn't die. Sometime we can't sure.
Okay, so from a factual standpoint, that would make sense because
Yeah, because that's like the last thing. That's the last thing he saw before he died.
Yeah, but you know, from a logical standpoint, like of the Star Wars universe, I feel like it doesn't really fit Mace Windu's character. Like, I mean, he's like so wise and he knows so much about the Jedi and their philosophy and their history. I think he would know that, like, you know, not all the Jedi are evil. You know, Mace Windu was, you know, one of the head masters.
Okay, well, the call just ended, guys, so I guess what I was going to say is that if Mace Windu if he survived, he would go to Yoda and Obi-Wan. Okay, we're getting a call. Here it is. Yep, we're back. I was just going to say, Mace Windu, if he did survive, why would he not go to Yoda and Obi-Wan?
Yeah, that's true.
I think we should probably end it here.
Okay, wait, but right before we do, I think we should interject a small thing. What franchises other than Star Wars are you guys into?
Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter.
Yeah, those are good ones. Did you say you were into Doctor Who as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up?
So we're talking about other franchises we like besides Star Wars. I think
We could talk about Marvel, DC.
Alright, so that's true.
You know, some superheroes, some bad guys.
Yeah.
The Walking Dead. That's a good one.
Yeah, I like. Here's some of the ones I like. I like the X-Files. I've been getting into Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's been pretty interesting. I just started watching it, and yeah, that's pretty much it right now. But I mean, I'm sure there'll be stuff in the future that I get into.
Alright, so...
We could talk about video games.
Oh wait, real quick. just real quick, have you been using a picture for the recording on like the laptop or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're gonna upload this to the Jedi Council YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
Alright. If you're watching this and you're wondering why it says episode 3 when this is the first one we're uploading to the Jedi Council YouTube channel, we've had 3 episodes before this. What would be Jedi Council Podcast episode 4? We've had 3 episodes before this, but they're on our other channels. We just now made it. But you can look at the other episodes.
Like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Backwards to,
Yeah.
I think I'll just put episode 1 so it'll be relevant for new viewers.
In a playlist. If you look at the playlist. Okay, that's fine.
What?
Oh, and also you should say on your channel to come check out the podcast channel.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Alright, so
I will too.
thanks for watching, guys.
But alright, so basically that's it.
If you like this video, then you should subscribe for more podcasts coming every Friday. See you guys.
subscribe to all of them.
Yeah, stay tuned everyone. Alright, tell me when it's stopped recording.